Hi, I'm Kimberly Allison from Starliner Music. Welcome to my channel. Today, I'm going to continue with my series entitled Rhythm Exercises. In these exercises, we use a 2-bar rhythmic phrase and repeat it throughout a 12-bar blues. This is an exercise in blues rhythmic phrasing. First, I'll perform rhythm exercise in the key of G, number 8, and then I'll break it down for you. Here we go. I hope you enjoy it. All right, let's break down rhythm exercise in the key of G, number 8. In these exercises, we go back and forth from lead guitar to rhythm guitar, and we use the exact same rhythm for each 2-bar phrase. So I have a 12-bar blues and 6 2-bar phrases. So the first bar of the 2-bar phrase is lead guitar, and then we go into rhythm guitar. So the rhythm for the 2-bar phrase is triplet, 2 and, rest iplet, triplet, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So lead guitar will fall over this rhythm. Triplet, 2 and, rest iplet, triplet, 1. And then we'll go into rhythm guitar on the and of 1 of bar 2. So normally for the rhythm guitar pattern, it's the Chuck Berry style or Jimmy Reed style blues pattern. So it would normally sound like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, but because we're playing lead guitar through the first eighth note of the pattern, we won't be playing rhythm guitar on that first eighth note. So it'll be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So lead guitar will fall over triplet, 2 and, rest iplet, triplet, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So some of you might be wondering what I mean by rest iplet. Well, first of all, a triplet is, I'm saying it phonetically, triplet is a 3 subdivision situation for a beat. So if I have one beat and divide it into 3 parts, that's triplet. So it's very common in blues to play triplets. So on beat 1, I'm playing that as a triplet. So that would sound like this. Triplet, and then 2 and is just a swung eighth note, 2 and, so triplet, 2 and. Rest iplet means this. It's a triplet, but we're not playing on the first attack of the triplet, so it's triplet or rest iplet. So triplet, 2 and, rest iplet, triplet, that's my last beat. And then 1, so triplet, 2 and, rest iplet, triplet, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Of course, we're not going to just be playing G for our lead guitar. I'm just demonstrating the rhythm there. So now that we've looked at the rhythm for this example, let's go on to the scales. We have 2 scales. Both are in what is called E form, and E form is from the Cage terminology that means any scale that fits over this general shape. And really what we're talking about here is the octave pattern that fits under an E-shaped chord. So if I take an open E chord and I move it up to the 3rd fret and make a G chord out of it, this is still considered an E-shaped chord. So the root pattern that fits under this chord looks like this. These are all G's in this case, and this is what we call E form. So I have both the minor pentatonic and major pentatonic in this example. The minor pentatonic scale here at the 3rd fret looks like this. The G major pentatonic, also in the E form, is a different shape, and it looks like this. So I'm going to be blending both the G major and G minor pentatonic for this 12-bar blues. Now that we've looked at scales and rhythm, let's go on to part 1. Here's part 1. triplet, 2, and rest iplet, triplet, 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and so I'm starting in the major pentatonic scale, at least for the fingering part of it. Now I'm bending kind of into the minor because I'm bending this note A up a half step, which puts us into minor pentatonic. But half step bend here at the 5th fret and a release. So triplet, and I'm playing the root here, G. So triplet, and then into major pentatonic here for 2 and 2 and. Then I have the rest iplet, so rest iplet, and then triplet, and then ending on the root G. Notice I'm ending this phrase on a chord tone that is the root G, so it's a good idea if you can either begin or end on a chord tone to help designate the chord change. So we're on the 1 chord G, and I ended my phrase on G. Now, that's not to say that you always have to end on the root. It doesn't have to necessarily be the root, but a chord tone is good. So what I mean by chord tone is root, 3rd, 5th, or 7th of the chord in this case. And then after the lead guitar, we go into the rhythm guitar pattern. So this is the Chuck Berry or Jimmy Reed pattern. So I'm making a power chord here, and then I'm extending my pinky up a whole step to the 7th fret. So remember that we're dropping that first 8th note. So on to part 2. Here's part 2. Triplet, 2, and rest iplet, triplet, 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and. So I'm starting in basically the major pentatonic, and I have this triplet, and then I have about a half step bend. Go to the 2nd string, 3rd fret, so triplet, 2, and then here's my rest iplet, there's a pull off, rest iplet, triplet, 1. Now notice this, that is a G triad, so I'm like literally playing out of the G chord. It's contained within G major pentatonic, but I'm doing a good job of outlining the chord. So that's my G triad. And then I go to the G accompaniment. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And let's put that together. On to part 3. Triplet, 2, and rest iplet, triplet, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So I'm starting on the 2nd degree of the major pentatonic scale, and then I'm going into the minor pentatonic scale here. This is because this note in the minor pentatonic, which is our B flat, works very well on the 4 chord C7 because it's in the chord. So I'm using this chord tone to sort of outline the change. So triplet, and then 2 and then I'm using both major and minor pentatonic together. Rest iplet, triplet, 1. Now I ended my phrase on this note E. Now it's in the G major pentatonic, but it's also part of a C chord. So I ended my phrase on a chord tone of C, and this is because we're on the 4 chord C7 here. And at that point I go to the comping for C, which is the same as what we used for G, only now it's moved 1 string toward the floor. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and let's put that together. to the next phrase. Here's part 5. Triplet 2 and rest iplet, triplet 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... So at this point we're on a D7 chord, and so notice that I'm going to start my lick here, and this note is A, and it's part of a D triad or a D chord, and so it's the 5th of the chord. So I'm starting my phrase on this chord tone, which is part of the G major pentatonic scale. So I come down the scale starting on this A note, and I also end on the A note. Again, this is a chord tone of my 5 chord, and then I start here on the root of the 5 chord, rest iplet, triplet 1, and I end again on the A. And then I go over to the comping, which is now moved over to the 5th fret for the D chord, and 2 and 3 and 4, and let's put that together. Now for the last phrase. Here's part 6. Triplet 2 and rest iplet, triplet 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... So I'm starting with a double stop, and I'm doing a bit of an approach, triplet, and then adding in the G here for 2 and. Now this is literally a G7th arpeggio. Like, this is the G chord, triplet 2, and then on the and I play the flatted 7 of a G7. You might imagine, like, this is a G7, this is in the chord. So I'm outlining the G7, triplet 2 and then rest iplet, triplet 1. So I'm starting on the root here, triplet 1, and ending on the root. At that point, I go back to the G comping, and 2 and 3 and 4, and let's put that together. That's it for rhythm exercise in the key of G number 8. I'm Kimberly Allison from Starliner Music, and I hope to see you back on my channel soon.